Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Welcome to my mental health channel, You Got This, where I wipe away the stigma of mental illness by talking about my own personal experiences having borderline personality disorder. I talk about schizophrenia, narcissism, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, therapists, psychologists, the different therapies there are, and a plethora of other topics related to mental illness. But I only come on as a former patient of almost 20 years. I am not a licensed therapist. I don't practice therapy. I don't even hold a degree in psychology. So I cannot offer you a diagnosis or a professional advice. And all I ask in turn of you is please be kind in the comments. Be kind to me, be kind to other people who comment. We don't need to agree on everything, but we do need to agree on one thing, and that is respect and kindness to one another. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of my videos outdoors in the warmer weather. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up right there. Hit that like button there. Hit that like. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button because it's 100% free. And for all you newbies out there, welcome to my channel. It's a lot of fun. I talk very openly and honestly, sometimes a little bit too graphic, but I give it to you straight, no holds bar here. So today's topic is, how do I know if my therapist is hurting me or helping me? Okay, I wish in hindsight I, had a video like this to help me when I was going to therapy. And I'm going to tell you all that I've learned about as being a patient of almost 20 years. I'm going to let you know how you can tell if therapy is harmful to you and you should get out, or is helping you and you should stay. Because sometimes it's not always clear. And it wasn't clear to me. Like, one of the most long-term therapists I had was Dr. Richard Geist. This guy was a completely unethical person, but he graduated from Harvard. He taught Harvard. He supervised other doctors from Harvard. He charged $300 an hour. He lived in a big, humongous house worth millions of dollars. He was charming. He poured it on really thick. And he let me do whatever I wanted to do. I could sit in his lap. I could roll all over the floor and lie on top of him. I got him to spank me one time, like erotic spanking. And, I touched his penis. I did things that, were highly unethical, but felt great and gratifying at the time because I thought I was in love with him. Because, he gave me over 5 hours a week for free. He invited me to his home in Maine. He let me in his house. He held me. I sat in his lap. He called me during the summer vacation every day. I mean, he did these things, and I was felt over the top. Like, wow, this guy, free therapy, I can call this man at 2 a.m. and he says, "Oh, Sandy, it's so good to hear your voice." Like, who says that, right? So, why would I want to give up all this attention from a man, he's very famous. He's written books. He's renowned. He gives speeches throughout the country. Yeah, he gives talks, lectures. So I'm going to let you in on what it was that was harmful, what I should have known. Now, I should have trusted my gut because I saw him in 2005, and in 2006, I filed a board complaint against him, but I couldn't go through with it, so I rescinded it. In other words, I went down, I called. One of the times I called and I told them that I had filed a complaint in haste and against, and I gave the name and everything, and I said, and I want to, take it back. And they said, okay. They took down the information. They don't care. They don't want to go through the red tape. They don't want to deal with that. But so here's one of the clues as to how I knew that he was harmful, okay? During this time of heightened, sexuality and letting me, sit and fondle all over him, we didn't have sex. I was losing a lot of sleep, all right? Every night I could not fall asleep. I'd be awake every single hour of the night. And I was like a walking zombie during the days. And the same thing happened when I was sexually abused by another psychologist, Dr. James Barbaria, who Dr. Richard Geist encouraged me to have sex with. When I had sex with that psychologist for 2 years, the same exact thing happened. I had severe insomnia. I couldn't sleep. When I mean I couldn't sleep, I couldn't see. I didn't sleep 1 hour. I saw every single, the clock said 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You get my drift, right? That I saw every hour on the clock. I could not sleep. So another thing that changed is I started drinking vodka when I was seeing Dr. Richard Geist. Now, I never drank in my life, Now I can't sleep and I'm drinking heavy. So you have to ask yourself, do you see negative changes in you since you've been in therapy? That's the first question, to know if your therapist is harming you or helping you. Of course, if you see positive changes, then hey, that's a great therapist. You're doing good. You see positive changes in yourself. But if you see negative changes in yourself, you're losing sleep, you're more anxious. I almost had a nervous breakdown with Dr. Brad Bedar. This psychologist kept telling me how horrible my dad was. He kept trying to get me to talk about my dad in ways that were really harmful to me, and I told him I didn't want to talk about it. He kept trying to push his own agenda on me. A psychologist should never force you to talk about something that you're not ready to talk about, okay? They shouldn't push their own agenda onto you at all. I had panic attacks every single time before my therapy session. Red flag, red flag. Why am I having major panic attacks? Humongous. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I was dying. I couldn't function. I literally couldn't function at all when I was seeing Dr. Brad Bedar, So ask yourself, what is happening since you've gone to this therapist or you're in this therapy, all right? Are you losing sleep? Are you having anxiety? Are you having depression? Are you drinking or taking drugs more? All right? Are you doing things? Are you having behaviors since you've been in therapy that you never had before that have a negative impact on you? Not a positive, obviously. If it has a positive impact on you, then stay in the therapy. Then the therapy is doing you good, right? But if you notice things in your life that's having a negative impact since you've been in therapy, then leave. Leave. I should have left. I should have went through with that board complaint in 2006, but I didn't. Why didn't I? Because I thought I was madly in love with him. I thought we were lovers. Well, we didn't, we were fooling around, but we didn't have sex. We didn't go all the way. You know what I mean? But I did have sex and go all the way with another psychologist, Dr. James Barberia. And I've written tons and tons in books about this subject, about these psychologists, and they're all on the links below. Both of them, I saw both of them, at the same time in the same sessions, and they're both manipulated me, sexually assaulted me, and but what I'm trying to tell you is I should have seen the red flags before then. I waited till it was too late, till I turned alcoholic, till I started spiraling down like the rabbit hole, spiraling down into the abyss. And if I've only noticed that, these things, and these are the signs that I want you to look out for. That's how you can tell if your therapist is harming you. Do you notice a difference in yourself? Are you having difficulties since you've been in therapy? Are you more depressed? Are you more anxious? Are you losing sleep? Are you turning to substances since you've been in therapy? Is it affecting your relationships in a negative way? Your marriage, or your relationship with your parents, or your relationship with your lover? Is it affecting your relationships in a negative way? Keep an eye on that. What is happening to you since you've been in therapy? Okay? Do you notice negative changes? Do you say, oh my God, I feel anxious every time I gotta go to therapy? Or do you feel like every time after my therapy, I don't feel uplifted, I feel very depressed, Watch out for those changes. Your body will tell you if something is hurting you, okay? It will tell you long before your mind can figure it out. Your body will tell you long before your mind can figure it out. My body was telling me, because with Brad Better, I would have severe major panic attacks. With Dr. Richard Geist and Dr. James Barberia, I started drinking very heavy alcohol. I had insomnia. I never had insomnia all my life. Now I can't sleep. No, I can't fall asleep. I can't sleep at all. I see every hour on the clock. The days I'm walking around like a zombie. It's very hard when a therapist pours on the charm and, coddles you and holds you and tells you, they love you. They both said, I love you, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're special, you're unique, da-da-da-da-da-da. They held me, they let me sit in their lap, they kissed me, they let me touch them. They made themselves available to me 24/7. They invited me to their, on vacation. I could call them in the middle of the night. You see, I never really had anyone I could reach out to anytime. My parents were dead. I had no best friends that would be there for me. I always was there for them, but they would never be there for me. So I never really had anyone, that I could reach out to. I never really had anyone pay all that attention to me. I never really had anyone to make me feel special and loved and gifted and appreciated and understood, not judged and beautiful and like a woman inside, So all these things were overwhelming for me because I never had that. See, I never had that at all. But that's a major thing to look for, okay? If you see yourself getting anxious or depressed before your sessions, after your sessions, if you find yourself turning to substances, if you find that your relationships, your personal relationships in your life are being affected since you went to therapy, just notice any changes since you've been in therapy. Notice changes in yourself. Notice changes how you are with other people. This is very important. that will tell you, those changes will be able to tell you, gee, you know what? I've been very anxious since I've been in therapy. I can't sleep. I'm turning to substances. I'm depressed. I'm fighting with my, husband a lot more than I used to. That's when you know it's time to get out. It's time to get out. When you notice an adverse effects in you, then it's time to leave. Then the therapy is harming you. And let me tell you, bad therapy is 100 times worse than no therapy. Listen to what I'm telling you. Bad therapy is 1,000 times worse than having no therapy. It's better off that you get out immediately. Just leave. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them anything, okay? You don't have to explain why you want to leave. You don't even have, you just leave, just get out. If they're harming you, get out. And if they're harming you, report them to the licensing board, okay? Every state has a licensing board that watches over the patients, that, protects their patients, because they have, these people, these professional people who, regulate the psychologist, okay? Every couple of years they have to renew their license, and they have to meet the guidelines to renew their license. And if they don't meet those guidelines, okay, if they've done harm to you and you filed a complaint, their license can be, revoked or suspended, so they're not practicing anymore. All right? Anyone can file a complaint. It doesn't cost you a dime to file a complaint. No money at all, okay? You just fill out a form. That's it. It's very simple. But you don't owe your therapist any explanation. If they are harming you, just stop. Stop. If you notice those changes, those negative changes in you, stop going. You don't have to explain to them. You don't even have to confront them. You don't. If you want to end it in person or send them an email saying I'm not going anymore, or a phone call, go ahead. But you don't owe them anything. Remember that. Don't feel guilty if you're ending the therapy. If it's having an adverse effect on you or your family, don't feel guilty. Just get out of there. You don't owe them anything. Listen to me. You don't owe them a thing. If they're not helping you, sayonara, baby. Okay? Just get out of there. All right? Doesn't matter how you do it. If you don't want to do it face to face, you're too afraid, or whatever, just write them an email. Say it in a phone call. And don't let them try to force you to come in, or, oh, you can't end it. You're not right. You're not well enough to leave me, Run! If you hear them say that, run. Because that's unethical. They can't tell you that. And if they do tell you that, then they're not being ethical. They're not following the guidelines that they're supposed to. So I hope this video has helped you a little bit. From my experiences, I wish I would have listened, to my own body, how I was reacting, and see how negatively the therapy was impacting me. But I just couldn't break free of it for a long, long time. But I'm so glad that I finally did, and reported these therapists to the licensing boards and broke free of therapy altogether.